the state of Iowa and the Cy-Hawk Trophy, so it's huge. There's huge support from both teams. Yeah, it's just a big game.
So do you talk to the Iowa State guys at all? Because they don't really know, they don't have that feeling of growing up with it. Do you talk to them about how important this game is to just like the state of Iowa in general?
They get a feel for it. Coach Ferentz, especially on the team meeting, really portrays to us that it's a big deal. It's a really big game for us every year. So, I mean, they get a feel for it as soon as they step on for game week, especially.
Is there ever any confusion in practice when the coaches yell Nelson? I'm just curious.
Yeah, usually we both look, and then they'll be like, "Oh, Anthony," or "Oh, Matt," and then they'll clarify from there. Or occasionally they'll be looking on film and say they'll only see like the 9, and be like, "Oh, Anthony," and it'll be me, or the other way around. So there's a little bit of confusion.
So did you know him very much before you guys got together?
No, not at all, actually.
You never played high school basketball against each other or anything? So, I mean, I assume you've gotten to be pretty good friends. It's just unique. 2 Nelsons, both 6'7" or taller. I mean, you ever talk about just kind of all the different circumstances?
Yeah, people always think we're related. We're actually not. The running joke is we're cousins.
Okay.
Although unrelated, it's just been a kind of a family-like atmosphere around the defensive line, and then us as defensive ends. Really just growing as a bond.
And now you're both playing a lot. I mean, that's got to make it even better. I mean, the defensive end, I assume getting pressure on the quarterback is one of the things you guys work on constantly. How important is that?
Oh, it's huge. Getting disruptions on the quarterback and disrupting his rhythm is huge for the secondary and the defense as a whole. So if we can do our part and disrupt their running game and passing game, that's huge for us.
All you defensive ends are from Iowa, too. Is that something you guys ever discuss?
That's actually not a topic of discussion.
Okay. Are you surprised at how quickly he's caught on?
No, he's a really good player, very fluid athlete. He's all props to him that he's worked his tail off to get where he's got.
Does your height help or hurt you more, do you think, at defensive end?
It helps in terms of length and separating, but it sometimes hurts because pad level gets a little high and my hips get high versus other people who have natural leverage.
Sure. What do you do to offset that?
You really have to focus on getting your pads down, getting your hips down, sinking your hips.
Who's a better center in basketball?
We haven't actually played basketball with each other, so...
what would you do if you were going up against him? How would you get a little size on him?
Oh yeah, I'd probably be a little physical with him. He'd try to finesse me probably, so...
Okay, great, thanks.
What have you seen from Iowa State on film?
I mean, they have a very good skill positions, very good quarterback, running back, a very talented group, offensive lines, got big guys up front. And it's a good group all together, so we're just trying to get prepared for them.
It's always, I would think, a concerted effort to get a pressure on the quarterback, but in this, as you talked about, with the receivers they have and the weapons they have, is it even more important this week to make sure he doesn't get comfortable?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of emphasis on constricting the pocket, make sure he can't get out and run, because he's also a very good runner.
Right.
We like to throw the ball deep, so we have to get there as soon as we can. So we disrupt that, and then that could change the game.
How'd you feel you guys did, or how'd you grade out the first week as a defensive line?
Not very good. We let up way too many yards. We have to improve on a lot of things. We started that on Sunday when we made all the corrections, and then apply that to the field on Monday and today.
Is it a communication thing, technique thing?
There was a lot of things. Yes, to those. There was just a lot of errors and mental mistakes and physical mistakes that we had to get corrected before the game.
What do you remember growing up with this rivalry? You're somebody from the state, so I'm sure you followed it and watched it as a kid as well.
Yeah, there was always like a poll at school, like who's going to win the game. And, being from Eastern Iowa, Iowa typically won. Yeah, it's just always a huge rivalry. People with the Beat Iowa or Beat Iowa State shirts on. Yeah, it's just huge in the state of Iowa.
How do you keep that in perspective? Obviously, there's some natural ingrained for you knowing what this is about, but to try to quell the emotions a little bit and make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Just focus on. I mean, it's a game. It's a big game, but I mean, it's still a game of football that's played on Saturday. So you just have to keep that in focus and not get too ahead of yourself and let all the build up get to you.
Thanks, man.